It is April 19th, actually April 18th, I checked that. 2019, it's a Friday morning, spring day. It's going to be about 50 degrees today, cloudy, pretty good. I go through a routine most mornings. Even though I'm not Catholic, I do light my candles. Not for any particular spiritual reason, but just because I try to make some nice fragrances out of it. So once I get a few candles burning, then I'm... Okay, you gotta stop. You're just too smoky. I don't need all that smoke. So I lit a different one. After I light the candles, I make my coffee, which I've already shown you how I do that. Then I have my pills. In the morning, I take 3 pills. This is Crestor. Crestor originally was a very, very expensive pill for me. It cost about $100 a month for me to take these pills. Now, it's because I take the highest level of the pill. I take a 40 milligram pill. 40 something, I don't know what it milligrams, I think. And it's a 40. They start in 10 and 40 is the highest. Took a long time for the doctor, Dr. Wallman and myself, to get this one approved. Because I used to take an older version of that pill, which was it was Lipitor. And Lipitor functions in the same way. It cleans or cuts your cholesterol production down. But it gave me cramps, especially in my legs, especially at night. I would wake up sometimes in the middle of the night and my calves would just be like balled up. It took me a lot of effort to get them to loosen up and I could walk again. So I can see why the insurance companies were reluctant to approve the pill. It cost me $100 a month at that time with insurance, and if I didn't have insurance, it was like $300 a month. Now there's a generic version of the pill, and it's I don't know, it went down where it only cost me like $10 a month, that's quite a drop. The second pill I take is my lisinopril. I don't know if I say that right, but it is it's a pill that reduces my blood pressure. I tend to whoa. I should be taking these pills with coffee. Never works out that good. My lisinopril, as far as blood pressure, I run a little rich, throttled up, and that does it successfully keeps my blood pressure in check. I've taken various forms of blood pressure medication over the years. Most of those have been taken off the market recently because they've had some, I don't know if it's just quality control problems with it, or if it's actual efficiency, effectiveness, quality problems with it. But anyway, they were taken off. And then the third one I take in the morning is my aspirin. It used to be called a baby aspirin because it was a design to reduce the 300 and whatever milligram aspirin that you take as an adult, 2 of them when you have a headache, down to 81 milligrams so the baby could tolerate it. Turned out babies couldn't tolerate it. Aspirin is just something you're not supposed to give to babies because you can eliminate them. In addition to that, I take a Pepcid AC for my stomach. That's a over-the-counter. That used to be prescription when I first started taking it. I have to take it, and so I take typically, on the average 2 a day, 1 in the morning and 1 in the evening. If I don't do that, my stomach just blows up. And I could spend some time explaining to you what that means, but I'm sure if you've come this far, you're not that interested in hearing about that. I gotta walk back over there and get something. So this will take me a minute. I mentioned that I shouldn't take my pills with coffee. That's because I don't know what it is about warm or hot substances, and I don't drink coffee hot. One of the reasons I like a lot of milk and coffee is it cools it down. I don't like hot coffee. But if I try to take pills with warm coffee, they just don't go down as smoothly as with cold drinks, and I usually use my orange juice in the morning to get them down. I try to keep my breakfast simple. It's not hard to do because I don't cook anything in the morning generally, unless it's bean day. Bean day. Every third day I cook a fresh batch of pinto beans because I use those as like a basic food supplement for. I can use beans as a replacement for a meal. I can add it onto a meal, but I generally have 2 or 3 helpings of beans every day. On my bananas, I like the flavor of bananas, and I like a little bit of peanut butter on it. That really has a nice flavor. I think this is the combination that made Elvis fat and killed Elvis eventually. But there's probably not much I agree with Elvis on. But I like the combination of peanut butter and bananas. I think the peanut butter brings in some protein, and of course the banana gives you, I don't know what it gives you, but it is a fruit. At least so I've been told. So that's my ritual. Usually if I'm going to record, like I'm doing right now, I go through a hygiene session first. I take a shower, shave, put on a little bit of makeup. This morning I didn't do any of that. You can tell by my hair, just kind of wherever it is. I'm going to be working on the bedroom today. My second bedroom, trying to get that ready to use as a recording space for videos. I have a studio set up where I actually could record audio, music and stuff. I bought it at Maxwell Street. It seems like it's a nice little setup, but I've never used that. I don't worry that much about sound. I have a microphone on my camera, and then there's an ambient noise. Whatever ambient noise comes in, I allow it. I don't know what that was. Most mornings I check in with Alexa, what's the news?
Here's your news. From the New York Times.
Alexa, skip that one.
From Volley FM, here's your word of the day.
I like the word of the day.
Today's word of the day is puffery. P-U-F-F-E-R-Y.
Sometimes they have words
Puffery
I know.
is a noun that means false or exaggerated praise.
I know this
The word
word.
puff, as in something you do into a balloon to blow it up, has
Alexa.
its origin.
Next. So I'm
In
skipping over that.
NPR News.
Then we move right to the news. Today we're going to talk about
From
Trump.
NPR
and
News in
Mueller.
Washington, I'm Giles Snyder. The Democratic head of the House Judiciary Committee issued a subpoena this morning for Special Counsel Robert
Alexa,
Mueller's full
stop. So I listen to the news most mornings. I used to watch the news as well, but I'm not sure what the point is, because it generally just makes me sad. And I guess it shouldn't. I should just go with the flow and say, what we've got is what man wants. And I'm not going to go into a rant about what that gives us. And then once I get through that little routine, coffee, candles, pills, breakfast, I then set about doing whatever I have to do. On Tuesday and Thursdays, I go to Mark the trainer for an hour. And then on the other 3 days, weekdays, I just kind of don't do anything. I don't have anything scheduled, and which means I usually don't do much. I've really felt tired lately, so not doing much seemed like an okay activity. I think I got down to the point I was so tired I was not doing much became not doing anything. I don't know. I feel a little better again, so I'm motivated to do some stuff. And now I'm gonna I'm gonna do some stuff today. I'm gonna start in the bedroom. I don't know how long I'm gonna work on that bedroom, but I will be in there for a while. See how that goes. I had so much trouble getting those pills down, I almost drank my whole cup of coffee. So this is a big cup. I'd say it holds about over 16 ounces, I would think. But in coffee, I only have that much in the cup. Then I have that much with water, and then, that much milk. So it's a big cup of liquid, but it's not a big cup of coffee. Although, when you swill the liquid together, it becomes coffee. So it is a big cup of coffee. Big cup of weak coffee, I guess. I don't know why, but yesterday, I don't know what triggered it. That's the end of that. But at some point during the day, I started thinking about the gym that we used to go to when we were in college, downtown Chicago, and we went there long after that. It was a free gym, open to everybody. It's on Navy Pier. It was. It's all gone now. The building, everything, nothing exists of it. No evidence. But it was a magical place. I went there for what was mostly featured at the gym, which was basketball. It was a place that you could go anytime during the day, almost 24 hours a day. I think it was open 24 hours. That's my recollection. I could be wrong on that. I never went that late at night, but it was open late, I'm sure, so we did go late. It was run by the Chicago Fire Department, which became the reason, or at least the stated reason that it was that led to its demise. And it was this big warehouse that had been used on Navy Pier when ships used to come there and offload their supplies for the city. I don't know how old the warehouse was. It probably went back to the 1800s, early 1900s. And it was converted, and I use the word converted generously there. It was repurposed, and the big open area that was the warehouse was converted into basketball courts. They did put down, I think they put down wooden floors. That's what I remember. We didn't play on concrete. And there was like 20 full courts side by side as you went down the gym. And many days that you went there, every court was full. And you would show up with your friends or alone, whichever way you went. And Paul and I went a lot, and sometimes Will went along, sometimes our friend Len Rubo. And if you had 5 people, you would sit on the sideline while the game was going on. And then the next game would be yours. And if you won, you stayed on the court until you lost. It seemed like about as fair a way of getting court time as I could think of. You know, you earned it. And there was a pecking order in the gym. You know, if you went east in the gym towards the lake itself, it got better. So if you were not that good a player, you didn't go sit down at the far east end of the gym. You stayed down at the west end. And I was mostly a west side player, which was fine with me. You know, there was plenty of competition there, and I wasn't always looking for competition. I was just looking for a game. One time, Paul and Will, Len Rubo, we must have had one more person with us because you need 5 for a team. But anyway, we got into this game against these young black kids, probably high school students. We were either college students or graduated from college at that time. And one of the players on the team had one arm. He was their guard. Which, you know, come on. The guy that's handling the ball, taking most of your shots, got one arm. We thought this is going to be an easy game. And it was easy. Much easier than I thought it was going to be. I misjudged how easy it was. Of course, we lost. And that kid with the one arm, he could handle that ball like it was part of his body. And he could shoot like, you know, you seldom see that sort of skill in a young person like that. And as we were leaving the court, and a little surprised that we had been summarily defeated like that, Len Rubo said, problem was, that kid had one arm too many, which was pretty much the truth. But we had a lot of fun down there. There was also racquetball courts. Actually, they were handball courts. So that's a little same type of court, but a little smaller. We played racquetball there because we didn't know how to play handball, and no one ever showed us. Paul and I did try it at least one occasion, and it hurt like hell because you had to basically cup those balls in your hand, and your hand became the racket. And I never figured that out, how you could do that without taking some pretty sharp blows to the hand. I mean, the older guys that I watched play it, I mean, they just, you know, that just seemed so natural to them that they could cup that ball and whip it back with their hand. All I could do was cause pain to my hand, and the ball very seldom went fast. They also had rings at the end of the they had free weights on the side near the east end of the basketball course. Did not extend to the very end of the gym. There was a section of the gym at the other end down there at the east where I didn't go that was set up for boxing. They had rings, a couple rings for boxing, full size. They had weights, free weights, and some other exercise stuff down there. But since I didn't go down there, I didn't know what was there. And I heard, and I don't think I ever saw him, but I heard that when Muhammad Ali was in town, that was one of his training areas, that he actually went down and trained in those rings, and that he would, you know, spar with local kids in the rings there. So yesterday, that memory came to me, and I don't think I ever saw Muhammad Ali. I just heard that about this. He was contemporary with us. While we were at the gym, he was working out as a boxer. There was some overlap. That's what I recall. And I decided to see if I could research that a little bit with Google. And I did find, without much difficulty, found an article on in the Chicago Tribune about the time that Ali lived in Chicago. He was he was a Muslim, but he was a little splinter group, a cult off the side of the Muslims. He was a black Muslim with Reverend Farrakhan, or whatever his name was. I don't know if that was the original guy. No, I don't think it was. Maybe it was. I think Farrakhan's the guy now. And there was a guy before that who was Ali's mentor. So, as part of his moral stance, while he was heavyweight champion of the world, Ali declared that he was a pacifist, that he was not going to go fight in Vietnam, that he was not going to go kill the yellow man, and that, and for that position, he was stripped of his titles, and he wasn't allowed to fight. Yeah, boxing is such a clean endeavor. You know, they got to stay clean and not break any rules or whatever. But anyway, he wasn't boxing for 4 years. And during that time, according to the Tribune, he lived in Chicago, which makes sense. He was a part of the black Muslim group. They were centered in Chicago, and he was there with his believers and fellow believers. So my recollection was correct. He did. I think we overlapped a bit while he was training. So maybe there was some slight possibility we might have seen him there. We didn't. I would have remembered that. But Paul, I sent Paul that article because not that he asked about it. I just thought he might be interested in that too, because it's something we did, and he responded, reminding me that some of our friends, more his friends than mine, in the neighborhood were Golden Glove champions, and I think in the article it says Muhammad Ali, when he was younger, was also a Golden Glove champion, which was a Catholic Church boxing event held in Chicago, I think specifically. And I think Ali came from Kentucky, Louisville. And I think that's where he was from. But he came to Chicago and he did win the championship. And he won it at the time that our friends in our neighborhood, especially one family called the O'Sheas, were also winning championships at the Golden Gloves, and they met and became friends with Muhammad Ali. At the time he was Cassius Clay. And Paul said, in response to me sending the article, he said, "Good article. Our friends," his friends, "the O'Sheas often spoke of Ali with high praise. Rory and Brian O'Shea were national champions about the same time and as Ali, as well as Michael, another brother, a younger brother, who also became a champion a little later. They were invited and went to the Pan American Games to watch Ali fight as an amateur. When Ali became a Muslim, actually a black Muslim, I asked one of the O'Sheas if he thought Ali hated white people. They didn't think so, and they strongly defended Ali. I think that was Brian. I think Brian at the time was still involved with training boxers, and as a matter of fact, he trained another one of our friends later on named Roy Amundsen. As an aside, Paul says, I visited the O'Shea family's house, and it was a happy place. Well, I wasn't that good of friends with them, and I went to their house also. It was filled with trophies and boxing memorabilia. Memorabilia. They were a tight-knit, loving Irish family, going about making a living in the trades, building houses, and Michael became a fireman, ending up as chief of one of the fire department districts. I remember how they were so proud when Brian, the oldest, graduated college. As I recall, he became a Chicago school teacher. Their sister Teresa was by far the prettiest girl in the neighborhood. Do you remember her? Yes, I do. She was pretty. But because she was surrounded by 4 national champion boxers, mostly I put her in the, she was a little older than me anyway, but had she been my age, not approachable. Patrick was a beautiful kid, and as it turned out, he could have become a heavyweight boxer as well. All of the other brothers remained smaller, and Patrick got bigger. One of the other brothers, who was a champion, said that Patrick had the natural talent as a boxer and could probably have gone further than any of the brothers. One problem was Michael had common sense, and as a result, he hated boxing. He didn't want to have anything to do with it. That kid was beautiful, and I think boxing would have not been a good thing for him. I don't know how it turned out for Patrick. Last time I saw him, he was still drinking with your friend Zaddy. That's funny that Paul would say that, because Zaddy was actually his friend. By the way, as you look at Sonny Liston in the pictures with Ali, look at the size of his hands. Remember, I met and shook hands with Liston in Las Vegas when I was a missionary. To this day, I had never seen hands anywhere as big as that man's. But of course, I had never had the pleasure of seeing President Trump's hands up close. Patrick, Brian, and Rory are dead. That sounds almost Shakespearean, doesn't it? Anyway, so I guess Paul found that article interesting as well. So we crossed paths with Muhammad Ali. We may not have actually crossed paths in a way that we would have seen him, but we were kind of overlapping him at that gym. But that gym was great. And we went there a lot. And it was free. Anytime, day or night, that you wanted to play basketball, make your way over to Navy Pier, and there was a forum for that. Why isn't that still there? What a great idea. And as many times as I went there, and I went there a lot, because I love basketball, and it wasn't easy to find a place to play basketball. And to find other people who are enthusiastic about playing as well, or interested in playing. And usually when I found people who were enthusiastic and as interested in playing basketball as I was, they played much better, so it wasn't that much fun to play with them. But at that gym, like I said, it would kind of sorted itself out, and you could kick yourself into a game at about the level you were capable of playing at, which was just an amazing and wonderful thing.